Well, welcome into the first episode of Plus One, where we have a plus one.
We do.
I'm Jack Trash.
I'm Chris McLernon.
And welcome in. And our guest today is Jeff Kieth from Tesla.
Formerly City Kid.
Yes.
As we know, and you'll hear about that.
Yeah.
City Kid with 2 Ds.
Yeah, City Kid did it.
Right, it's like that Eddie Izzard thing.
Yeah, and I've done that for years on the radio. Anytime I've had to play a Puddle of Mud song.
That's great.
I've done that for years.
So early on, did you do Alcatraz's?
Yeah. You know what? I don't think I've ever played Alcatraz's on the radio.
All right. Well, next time you got
I'll have to sneak one in at some point.
Yeah, there you go.
So Jeff Kieth is one of the most comfortable people in their own skin that I've ever met.
Absolutely.
This guy is so much fun. And,
yep.
And you could pretty much talk to him about anything and he'll have something to say.
Yeah, absolutely. If you are stuck on an airplane going across country and Jeff is sitting next to you, you're going to enjoy the flight.
Totally. And the one thing about I don't know when the last time you saw Tesla, but I saw Tesla not that long ago.
Me too.
When Jeff's on stage, and we'll ask him about this, but when Jeff's on stage, he's in his own world.
Oh, yeah.
He's having a conversation with himself, with the mic stand, with the drum riser.
Yeah.
So as somebody who's been on many stages in bands, have you ever been in a band with somebody who kind of is in their own world on stage?
Oh God, yeah. They have no idea you're even in the perimeter. Oh. They come dancing over to you and step on your feet and turn on your pedals and turn them off and just like unplug your, well, in my case, bass. They have no idea. They're completely 100% in their own world. It's amazing. It's like, you realize there's people out there, right? Not just us on stage. There's people with us. Just no idea. None.
That's awesome. All right. So here is our conversation with Jeff Kieth from Tesla. At one point I had a rehearsal studio and the guys from AC/DC came in and rehearsed.
Wow.
It was really cool. Brian Johnson sang Back in Black, like just straight, without the rasp, without the scream. And it sounded really cool. But he said to me afterwards, he goes, "That's harder on my voice than singing it the way I've sung all these years in AC/DC." I'm wondering, you've got that raspy voice too. I'm wondering if it's kind of the same for you.
Well, yeah, when you're getting that natural voice, and that's probably, natural for him. And sometimes it is harder to sing down low, more so than up high.
Right.
So I can relate to that.
Yeah.
Now, is that also just a career of doing it as well? You know how to pop it in real quick and not hurt yourself?
Yeah, it just becomes natural instinct, and when the best thing to do on stage is don't think about it. Just do it.
Yeah. Yep. What we were talking earlier about singers and songs and stuff, and one subject came up was, what's a song that you just, the first time you heard it, it literally just stopped you dead in your tracks, and you like had to just go, this is unbelievable, what am I hearing?
You mean of our songs?
Well, sure, yours first. Go, then. But then.
Well, no, I'm saying. Are you saying of any song?
Any song.
Any song.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we covered so many great songs. It's hard to pick one, but
like you as a fan, you as a listener, you as a kid driving in your car, what would that be?
Bon Scott's my biggest inspiration. So be an AC/DC song with Bon Scott, but I love Brian Johnson too.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I just picked up 2 AC/DC records on vinyl. Everyone says vinyl now. I call it record collecting, but
Okay.
it's so I picked up Power Age and Let There Be Rock.
Yes. Up to My Neck. That'd be a good one.
That's a great one. Yeah.
And up to my neck in trouble. Yeah.
Ah, you're talking. Yes.
That's awesome. Speaking
of, that was my first concert, was 1978 Day on the Green #3 with Van Halen opened the show, and then AC/DC came out, and it was like, wow, who are these guys? And then Pat Travers, Foreigner, and Aerosmith headline. 1978, I was 19 years old.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, because I'm that's one of my favorite bunch of pictures of Van Halen is from that show.
Oh yeah, is that right? Yeah, it was a great show, man. It was my first show ever.
Yeah, that's a way to break it in. Nice job.
Yeah. I also had a stadium show for my first show ever too, which was Bay Area band Journey and Blue Oyster Cult and Triumph and Aldo Nova.
Oh man, that's an awesome show. I got
Down
to
at-
see Blue Oyster Cult.
Yeah,
Did
and
you?
Robbie Krieger came out and they did Roadhouse Blues.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
That was your first show?
That was my first show, July 2nd, 1982. I got
Wow.
Yeah, mine was Rush at the Spectrum on the Moving Pictures tour.
Ah,
so good.
That was good.
that was a great one.
Yeah, so that one, and then 3 weeks later, I saw Iron Maiden for $5 on the Killers tour.
Oh yeah.
And then two weeks after that, I saw Van Halen Fair Warning, that tour.
Ah, that must have been a great one.
It was an indoctrination to say the least. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. So we were speaking of vinyl. So I have vinyl right here.
Oh, look at that.
Okay, so I know
Nice.
I've been asked about this album a lot. So what I want to know from this is, and you may have nothing to do with this, but Coming At You Live is like the greatest song to open a show with. You know, and
It is.
that's probably why you wrote it. I mean, it's perfect to begin a show with. Why is it second on here?
You know what? That's a good question. I know we wrote the song in Guam in 1984 when Tommy Steele had just joined the band.
Wow.
So that was like one of the first songs we ever wrote. And now, as far as when it comes to the order on the record, a lot of people have their hands in on that. So I'm not quite sure why it's the second song.
Yeah, we put it on before we did this today, and every time it comes on, I go, I love Easy Come Easy Go. It's great too. But then then Coming At You Live comes on, and goes, oh, what? We have an opening band before it.
Hey, you know what? Well, for whatever reason, they figured it would be best to come out with Easy Come Easy Go and then Coming At You Live. A lot of times there's theories behind all that stuff. Of course, I don't know that stuff.
Right.
And yeah.
I mean, a lot of times that's the record coming too, just going, by the way, here's how it's going to go, guys. Just letting you know.
Exactly. And a lot of times, you know, when you think it's the single, they go, hang on, we want to put something out first to establish this and then come out with that.
Right.
So, yeah, there's a theory behind it.
We just don't know what it is.
No, we don't, but
No.
they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, they do.
Or at least they say they do.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Who produced that record? You get that information right offhand?
Pete Thompson, Michael Barbiero.
There it is.
Yeah, they did
by
the
Michael
first
Barbiero.
3 records. It's a great team. They were great guys and did a fantastic job.
Yeah, absolutely. So why were you in Guam?
Well, I joined the band in '83, and so Tommy Steele had just joined the band, and we were playing now Friday and Saturday nights in the clubs, top 40, and I think the theory was to, you know, get everything broke in with Tommy and then come back and still be in that slot.
Gotcha.
That's a lot of years ago. I mean, that's a long time ago. So
Yeah, dude, I hear you.
I
think that was the method. Yeah, yeah. Well, they had this place over there called the Pescador, and it was this big, like, supermarket turned into a club for the Army and the Navy guys and stuff when they would, you know, get some time off, and it actually was a great experience.
Wow.
Like I said, that's when Tommy Steele joined the band, and when we got back, we went, hey, let's get Troy Lequette on drums, who'd already played on a record. So for us, it was like, all right.
Yeah, he's big time. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that a City Boy or is that Tesla?
That's City Kid.
City Kid. That's right. City Boy was
with 2 Ds.
yes, right. Yes, of course. Yeah. My first bar band was Tracks with 2 X's. Yeah, that helps a lot.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. Oh, yeah.
That's what it was apart from all the other ones, right? Yeah.
That's like I think in every city there's a Stormbringer.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Every city's got a Stormbringer band.
Yeah.
Well, we knew we didn't want to be City Kid as making a record, and if things go right, which things went well for us, we definitely didn't want to be known as City Kid with 2 D's.
Right.
Oh man.
You get idiots like me on the radio calling you City Kid.
Right. Like,
City Kid did.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is so top 40. I mean, I did, top 40 gigs, and everyone has their own top 40 story of like how they, kind of came up. So when you guys were coming up, how'd you make that break from that into actually getting into the bigs? What was the final step?
Well, I don't know about what the final step was, but I know the steps leading into it were we were from Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
Most bands were moving to LA.
Yep.
And we just said, hey, we'll stay up here in Northern California, go down, showcase, and then just come back to the drawing board, see what we need to do, see where our songs, we put our songs in between, top 40 songs, and it's just kind of look at it and go, what's missing in the songs we're writing as opposed to what we're playing them in between. And we just kept going back to the drawing board, drive back down to LA, and next Tom Sutot and Teresa Ensenat signed us. Yeah. And then after we got signed in 85, we were doing a demo in Cherokee Studios, and Geffen Records says, you're not ready to make a record, so we want you to keep working on songwriting. And that's what we did. Didn't put out our first record, Mechanical Resonance, until 1986, the end of 86. Wow. So we were signed for a year and weren't ready yet.
Oh, wow. Which is always, and you hear that a lot because bands will get signed and say, you're not ready yet, we need you to write more songs. Like, well, what got us signed?
Yeah, well, they say the first record, you got your whole life to write it.
Yep.
And so, and then of course with the second record, it's a sophomore jinx, they call it, and all that kind of stuff, which worked out well for us. We didn't even think about it. But
I was going to say, you guys sure didn't have that.
No, we didn't have to worry about that. And then by Psychotic Supper, we had a good idea of who we wanted to be. But with that first record, you're just being led around, and it was very helpful because it worked.
Yeah. It totally worked. I remember coming into because I worked at KNEC in LA, and walking
great station.
And a mutual friend of ours, Greg Steele, says, this is Q Prime's new band. And we're like, oh, Metallica, yeah. And we put it on. And I mean, I think that was the first time we played Modern Day Cowboy, and the phone line, I just remember the phone line just lighting up, going, what is this? This is so great.
Well, that's great. Q Prime they were great, man. Cliff Bernstein, Peter Minch, they're the ones that taught us. They said, hey guys, when you write a song, write it from the heart, because you may never be playing in front of anybody. You may never sell a record, but as long as you write from the heart, you will always be up there on stage singing and playing from the heart. And that was the most valuable stuff we could have been taught, because when we're up there playing night after night, we're playing it and singing it from the heart and having fun. We're still having fun almost 37 years later.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah. Well, yeah. And the audience can always tell when you're not. Whether you think you're fooling them, they know.
They know. Hey, they know when it's the real deal and you're having fun, and they pick up on that, and then it's full circle. We're having fun from the heart. They're having fun, and the crowd, and then you just feed off of each other, and everybody's having a ball.
Exactly.
That's great. I've talked to, I believe, everybody else in your band, and one of the questions that I asked them is, do you ever look over at your lead singer and go, what is he doing now?
They probably do it constantly. And then they go, and he's doing it on the microphone. But there's a method to my madness.
It's working so far.
It is working so far. You know what? And honestly, we are having fun. And as long as we're having fun, we're going to keep going. We're not stopping.
That's good. How's the new kid doing?
The new kid's doing great. Yeah. Fantastic.
Nobody other than Dave Root has got to be really happy about not being the new guy anymore.
Yeah, that's right. No, but we're up there having fun, and that's what people pick up on. And songs, they become timeless. And we're playing songs from all the way back in the hairband days and having fun with it, and people love it. We love it. They love it. We all love it.
It's great. That's awesome.
Yeah, speaking of the hairband days, when you guys came out, it's like you were the complete opposite visually of the hairband era. It's like somehow you found this niche, you all looked cool, it all worked, and you were like nowhere near a can of Aquanet.
No, but the first video we did for Modern Day Cowboy, I remember they spent probably a half hour on my hair. They had a half a can of Aquanet. And I looked in the mirror and I went, oh, no, I can't have this. I pat it down. They go, what are you doing? We just spent a half an hour on it. So they dolled it back up. And yes, they put a little eyeliner and stuff like that. They go, this is what you do. So, back in those days, you're just like, okay.
Right. Yeah. I guess you know better. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't really know. You don't know who you are when you're first coming out.
Right.
No.
They're helping you define yourself.
Right. Trust me, kid. You'll be a star. Yeah.
Exactly.
What do you think? What percentage of time from the time Mechanical Resonance came out till now, even, I guess, what percentage of time do you think you've slept in your own bed?
Boy, in the beginning, we were out on the road sometimes for 4 to 6 months.
Wow.
So yeah, so we spent a lot of time, most of the time, on a tour bus.
Right.
And yeah, but now we're to the point where we can go out for no more than a month, and we know that's when you start unraveling. And back in the day when we were sleeping on the tour bus, we were rolling pretty hard. So sometimes there wasn't a lot of sleep going on, but we made it through it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's trying to sleep on a tour bus is like trying to go to sleep while someone's trying to wake you up.
Right. I was usually in the crowd that was waking people up.
So, all right, opposite of a tour bus, you guys gonna be doing any more cruises?
We just did one earlier this year.
Oh, did you?
And yeah, and I think they usually ask us to do it every other year. We used to do it every year.
Yeah.
But now they have it set up where it's like every other year. And no, it's a ball. It's a blast. You do a couple shows, you get to go out there on a cruise. Everybody's in the just music vibe. It's really a fun thing to do.
Yeah, I'm amazed because we've done a couple of them, and I'm amazed how respectful and polite and cool all the people are who come on board, because you don't know what you're going to get because you're trapped with them for 5 days.
Yeah, no, the people are really great, and yeah, you just get to go out there and commingle and hang out and just enjoy the rock and roll as well. Yeah. If you're not playing, you're out there enjoying it, seeing different shows, and it's always something going on. There's always, sometimes it can be a little bit of conflict of, I want to go see so-and-so, but I want to see so-and-so. So,
yeah, but you catch the first half of one, you run and catch the second half of the other. And then,
yes,
right.
Yes.
And then you run into the guy, Mayor McCheese from Mac Sabbath or something,
Oh, they were on the last cruise.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
Did you see him?
No, I didn't get to see him. I heard all about him, and I kind of seen a little bit of him on the TV screen there. But I heard they did really good.
Well, the guys can play really well. It's just the getting over the fact that that's not Ozzy and it's Ronald McDonald singing. It's just sometimes you're like, how tired am I?
No, hey, they got a great reception. From what I understand, everybody was saying, hey, they were really great. I was expecting it not to be, because they're up there having fun, but they're really talented guys.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they have all the tones down. They have the vibe down. But they're dressed like the Grimace. So,
Yes.
What do you do? Back to covers for a second. When you guys choose a cover to do, how do you go about it? Is it kind of someone brings one in, you all kind of bring one in? What do you do?
Yeah, like when we did the 5-man acoustical jam.
Right.
Well, with some covers, we were like Ronnie Montrose, I believe it was, helped us pick up Little Susie. And then, but by the time we got to 5-man acoustical jam, we all said, "Hey, let's all pick a song." And like Brian, he picked "We Can Work It Out" because big Paul McCartney fan. Frank came up with the trucking and doing it in a different into Coming at You Live, which was brilliant. Troy was Born in Lodi. Tommy picked Mother's Little Helper, and I graduated high school in Idabel, Oklahoma, and I used to hear Signs like on the radio, and
right.
So I said, I'd like to do this song called Signs, and like, well, we never heard it. Get a copy of it. I'm like, man, this is not 8-track tape days. We moved up to cassette tapes,
right?
And I'm like, what am I going to find a copy of this? And a friend knew I was looking for it, got me a 45 record.
Oh wow!
And the band learned it, and next you know, we played at a radio station. Phones ringing off the hook. Next you know, we're out on tour with Motley Crue, and we had played these clubs and happened to record it. 24-track mobile truck and 5 cameras, and when MTV was playing videos. And next you know, that's the song. The phone's ringing off the hook, and next you know, we got a whole evening of it.
Right.
5-man acoustical jam, which did very well for us.
Well, and it surprised a lot of people, I think, because at the time everyone was just trying to be so rock and roll, and you guys went, meaning auditory-wise, the other way. We're going to go acoustic. Watch this. And I think that's before all that stuff like the unplugged started on. You guys were in the front of the line for that.
Right. And so yeah, we just had fun. It was just live, raw from top to bottom, and I think that's what people appreciated about it. And I know that's what we appreciated about it. It's just like, push into the red and let's go.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are always, and you still are, so good live, and that always sets the stand for everybody else who's watching. Oh shit! Well, we got to up our game.
Thanks. Yeah. Hey, well, you know what? We're just having fun. It's the real deal. If it's off, if it's an off night, hey, we have off nights, and if it's on, it's feeling great. Nothing's rolling in the background. Just have fun.
Yeah, exactly.
It's got to be a good a good thing to have on the guys when you say, you remember that time I had to hunt down a 45 so you could hear this song, and now it's like one of the biggest songs that we've ever done.
I know. Hey, and then we got to meet Les Emerson, and actually he came up and jammed with us, and we were up in Canada.
Cool.
And yeah.
Okay, now for those of that out there who don't know who he is, please explain.
Les Emerson is, well, Les has already passed away from COVID like 2 years ago now. Ooh. And I know. And he wrote the song for 5-man electrical band,
right? Which
that became the single, which made us title it 5-man acoustical jam.
Which very clever.
And so yeah. And it's a great song. Great bunch of guys, 5-man electrical band. I got to go up and jam with them.
Nice.
At a memorial kind of gig for Les Emerson. Got to go up there and jam with them that song, and what a great experience that was. They're great guys, and it was unfortunate because Les had passed away. But because I played it thousands of times with Tessa and just one time with the 5-man electrical band.
Hey, at least you got that. That is,
that's cool.
That's a very cool thing.
Who else have you been able to get up and jam with?
Ooh,
pick 3.
Pick 3.
Yeah. So you're not trying to like go, oh man, let me think. What was 1988?
Right. Well, I know it was a great experience probably 3-4 years ago at the like classic rock over in Japan with Jeff Beck.
Oh,
where Jimmy Page was handing him an award, and I was the house band singer. With Dean DeLeo, Robert DeLeo.
Oh, they're so good.
Yeah. It was Ray, the drummer from Korn. It was fantastic. Got to jam with Rudy. Rudolph Schenker. I mean, I've had so many opportunities to play with people. It's fantastic. When we did the 5-man acoustical jam before it was named that, we did a show in Boston. The guys from Black Crowes, a couple of them came up and jammed with us. We've had a lot of great opportunities. We've been very fortunate.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's one of the best things about this career is the fact that you can go like jam with someone who you grew up listening to. You know
exactly.
I mean? It's like I don't think doctors get that chance.
Right.
Right.
And at the Jeff Beck Classic Rock Awards that he got, I got to also play with Joe Perry and Johnny Depp. They got the Hollywood Vampires.
Yep.
So yeah, I got to jam a few songs with Joe Perry, and which was, oh my gosh, because like I said, that was my first concert, and Aerosmith is one of my very biggest inspirations. So what an experience that was.
What's your favorite Aerosmith record?
Woo-wee! It's hard to beat that first one.
I agree.
Oh yeah, and Get Your Wings. We just did a cover of SOS Too Bad.
Nice.
Yeah, I love that. I love all Aerosmith. Don't get me wrong, but the early stuff, and that's with a lot of bands. It's that early stuff that I really love.
Oh man, I mean, all those I love them all through right about through Done with Mirrors. And that was the last one I was really like, this feels like Aerosmith.
Right, and we did a show in the Texas Jam. We did. It was us with Poison, Whitesnake, and Aerosmith and Boston, and that was at the Cotton Bowl, 1987, and it was a great experience. And that's, I think, Aerosmith had done. That's when they came out with Done with Mirrors.
Yeah. That record is criminally underrated.
Yes,
Done with Mirrors.
Love it.
So good.
Yep. But I think also Rockin' a Hard Place is too. I mean, Rick DeFay and Jimmy Crespo came in and killed on that record.
I love it, man. I love that stuff. Oh, Chiquita! I love that stuff, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's when a couple of the members left, or at least Joe Perry or whoever it was, but it was some great stuff. Yeah. I banged that stuff over and over on an 8-track tape, nonstop.
Yeah. I always had to wait for when you start fading out, you're like, okay, ka-chunk, and then it goes to the next program.
I know, but the beauty of it was you could just party all night, pass out, fall asleep, wake up, and it was still going.
That's right.
Right. Everyone forgets that. Everyone loves the whole vinyl experience. Like, well, you realize you have to get up and change it after 15 minutes, right?
Right.
All of a sudden, iTunes doesn't seem so bad.
But with vinyl, because I don't have the fancy record players and all that stuff, but I know when people get into that vinyl, it does have a certain, I don't know what the technical proper term is, but where everything's panned and there's something about it. So something about vinyl.
And it warms your heart.
See?
This is art.
Oh,
thumbnail on a computer. This is art.
That's great. And it gives you something to look at. That picture on the back was a 10-minute picture.
Yep.
Where the photographer climbed up a ladder. Yep. Turned it on and said, stay in that position for 10 minutes. And he come around lighting us all up with flashlights and all kinds of stuff, sparklers. Yeah.
That's great.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you did it right. You look the most comfortable out of everybody. If you got to sit there for 10 minutes.
Well, because I thought I was something else with my shirt. It says, no muff too tough. We dive at 5.
There you go. Setting the standard from the first record.
That's right. That's awesome. That is awesome. Man, thank you so much for doing this.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Appreciate it, guys.
You really appreciate it.
I appreciate it too.
And thank you for your patience while we all tried to figure out how to work Zoom. It's
hey man, I'm new at this.
Old people trying to do technology.
I know. I'm new at this stuff, man. I know it's the latest and greatest thing, but I'm I'm just right at the beginning stage of it, and I know most people just go, "It's no big deal. Just do this, do that."
Yeah,
Well, we got it. We got it.
We did. We did. So.
Oh, by the way, has Elon Musk ever paid you guys?
You know what? It's funny. I was out to dinner about 4 months ago at somebody's birthday party, and the next table over, they recognized who I was, and so they were telling the guy that was his 40th birthday, whatever it was, and he comes up and realizes who I am, and he goes, "Hey, man, so you hang out with Elon Musk?" I go, "Do I look like I hang out with Elon Musk?" I'm sure he's a great guy, but no, we haven't hung out with him. No. I know when they first came out with the car, Troy met with the vice president and all that stuff. And we said, "Troy, tell them we'll write them a jingle for their commercial."
No kidding.
Like, I'll take the blue car. Frank's going to get the black car. Brian's going to get the green, whatever. And they just went, "No, it's not going to happen," because they came out and they didn't have cars for sale. They just had a list they made for people to get a car. But at any rate, no, I have not met Elon Musk.
No. He definitely owes you money.
Well, I think he's going to beg to differ.
Probably.
Hey, we just used the name from Nikola Tesla, and so did he. So,
All right. Yeah.
In all fairness, Nikola Tesla gets all the credit.
This is true.
Well said.
So I think we promoted this pretty well. Jeff Kieth's a pretty cool dude.
Yes, he is, and he laughs a lot. And that's always a good sign. It's always a good sign.
Yes, exactly. Lots to take away from that conversation right there, but the one that stands out to me was his T-shirt on the back of the Mechanical Resonance.
Right. Because everyone thinks about how record companies are so all over you, but there's a great example of, to the minutia. They have to cover up a shirt you're wearing. It's like the old Alice Cooper "Love It to Death" cover, where like they found his thumb sticking out and they censored the cover,
right?
Which of course makes it even a better story.
Exactly.
I mean, I never knew that thing. I mean, Saigon did a gig with Tesla on New Year's 92, 93. And, and I'm a fan of bands. So, but I didn't think to ask that question. So getting it, I was like, oh, that's fantastic.
Exactly. Do you have a T-shirt that you've had that is just like one of your favorites?
Yeah, I got a couple. Actually, a couple of like one of the kids, when they were little. So there's a couple of great ones. One was Graham's that says, "I put ketchup on my ketchup," which is great. But yeah, I have shirts from gigs we did that I've never worn. I also have a cold sweatshirt that somebody gave me. They found it on eBay and they gave it to me, which I thought was fantastic.
That's cool.
So I definitely have those. And it's one of those things where I think if you're, again, a fan like I am and you are, it has a connection that's just deeper than the show or the person or the band or whatever. It's almost like like getting a tattoo of it that you can go and throw in the wash. It's always with you.
Right. Yeah.
And I think now the question is, will eBay have an overload of people looking for, no muff is too tough, we dive at 5.
I'm Googling that as soon as we're done.
Yeah. Who else is it, right? If Jeff's smart, and he is, maybe he should start his own company, T-shirt merch wise, and sell those at Tesla shows.
I think he probably should.
I would guarantee they'd sell. No, there's no way they wouldn't. No way they wouldn't, right?
$40 a pop.
Exactly. They would go. But I think you'd have to sell the accompanying leather jacket or whatever he was wearing, the jacket to cover it up, which again, big bucks, now it's a paired item.
It's a
set.
That's a really good one. When I was just in high school and starting to get into this rock and roll thing, I don't even know where I got it. I got a T-shirt that had the you got to remember now, this is the early 80s. So I had a T-shirt with the sickle that's, the Russian flag.
Yeah.
And then a big screw through it. Right? Not that I could care less about political stuff or anything like that.
Right.
But I thought it was cool. And I'm embarrassed to say this, but every time I went to the record store, I wore that T-shirt because I thought that was the most rock and roll thing I could ever wear.
Exactly.
I didn't get complimented on it.
And it probably was. Oh, I had an Iron Maiden Killer shirt that because I saw them on that tour and I was so proud of that thing and lost it, of course. But that was my, like, if I go to a concert, because remember in those days, you go to a concert and you'd have a wardrobe that I'm going to wear this to this concert because I want to look cool.
Right.
So my first go-to was absolutely my Iron Maiden shirt. Or I saw AC/DC on the second or third show for Those About to Rock, and I wore that shirt that I got too.
Right. Nice.
So, yeah. Oh yeah. That was the loudest show I ever saw in my life.
That's funny because on the Flick of the Switch tour, Fastway opened up for AC/DC.
Wow.
And Fast Eddie Clark had broken his right hand, but
Wow.
so he still played.
Right.
And I don't know if it had anything to do it, but Fastway is still to this day the loudest band I've ever seen.
Wow. I remember seeing Motorhead open for Cooper on the Razor Fist at Long Beach Arena.
Yeah.
That's one where Axl and Duff and Slash and I think Izzy came out and they did it Under My Wheels for Decline Part 2.
Right.
So Motorhead opened, and I remember running into Hetfield at that show, and I was talking to him, and he's like, dude, he's like doing this, and I was like, you all right? And he's like, dude, I was down front for Motorhead. You got to yell.
Yeah.
Okay. Because they were so, I mean, Cooper just let them go. They were so loud. I was like, good God, how do you guys even, recognize each other on the street because you can't hear anything?
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be all visual. All hand signals.
Just I think Megadeth was on that show too.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Which, speaking of which, that was speaking of shows, Jeff's first show was that Day on the Green show, which is that's pretty. That's like, okay, you kind of win that one, Jeff.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
That's a legendary show.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Just for the bands who are on, never mind just being there for it. I was like, wow. Mine was Rush Moving Pictures at this Philadelphia Spectrum, which is not bad.
No, that's good. That's good. Like I said, I was Journey and Blue Oyster Cult and Triumph and Aldo Nova.
Yeah, yours is really good. Yeah. I had Rush and FM.
Oh yeah, there you go. They're still around.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, the guy played an electric mandolin. I was like, I'm sitting there in the Spectrum just going, am I seeing that right? That's a Fender electric mandolin. Okay, great.
There you go. There you go. Well, hopefully you enjoyed this episode of Plus One.
Yep. Welcome to the premiere.
Yep. We're going to, if you haven't already, like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram, and you can
subscribe on YouTube.
YouTube, if you're seeing us. Hi. And we're gonna have a show every week.
Yes, we are, and we got some doozies lined up.
We do. Some of them are from kind of this wall here. They just come right off the wall.
Yep. And some are just otherwise off the wall. Just like, how did we find them and how did they find us?
Right. Exactly. So we want to keep that rolling. So again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Until we do this again, I'm Jack Trash.
I'm Chris McLernon.
And live your life to 10 plus 1.
Plus 1. See it will call.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Plus One, a rock and roll podcast. If you like what you heard, please subscribe to get all the latest backstage info. Check out our past shows on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And check out our video of this or past episodes on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. New episodes drop every Wednesday.